Field Yates put out this tweet that we briefly discussed in yesterday's video. And at first, admittedly, we all kind of thought, and especially me, I kind of thought, oh, hey, the Saints are getting ahead on their cap work. They're trying to clear up some space, trying to get under that cap number, and they're just doing it early. But now there's some chatter and there's some buzz that Marshon Lattimore could be traded. So we're going to discuss that. Nick Underhill went live last night and talked about this, so I'm going to dive into what he said. But before we get into that, I need you Saints fans to get loud and get active in the comment section. Here at Chat Sports, we're all about audience interaction, so I need you to interact with this video so I can interact with you. In any world, in any situation, in any lifetime, in any multiverse, would you trade Marshon Lattimore? Just give me a T for trade or a P for pass, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. One last thing of housekeeping that we got to take care of. It's thanking today's sponsor, Prize Picks. It is an awesome daily fantasy sports app that I'm literally addicted to. I absolutely love this. And here's the situation. Got my girlfriend some pretty nice Christmas gifts. Shout out to Prize Picks for helping me make that money. So if you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, plug in promo code CLNS, you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. And as for the Prize Picks, the first Prize Picks projection I'm going with for 2024. I'm feeling really good. I'm starting 2024 on a good note, so let's go win some money together. Chris Olave, more on his receiving yards, and Bijan Robinson, I'm going to take the less on his rushing yards. Prize Picks is so easy. You just pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less based on their projected numerical stat, and voila, you could win some money. So go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, plug in that promo code CLNS for that first deposit match up to $100. I included all that in the comment section and description of this video because you're my best friends and because I love you. Shout out to Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, so let's talk about whether or not the Marshon Lattimore trade makes sense. And I do want to just kind of preface with this. I think that there is trade value in Marshon Lattimore. And going to give you my take right now. I don't want Lattimore traded. I do not want 23 wearing another uniform next season. However, outside of Chris Olave, feels like Lattimore is your best trade piece, considering age and roster and production. So I think if the Saints are wanting to go and get some more draft picks, wanting to clear some money off of their cap space, now it's $11 million cheaper to do that. So that's kind of something to consider. But I said that we're going to talk about what Nick Underhill said. And here's him just simplifying everything on why the Saints did this. It's an option bonus, not a signing bonus. It's set a week before the 2024 season starts. The only reason to do this is to leave the door open for a transaction to where you can move on from somebody. A few minutes later, he continued to say, based on some of the stuff that I've heard, but way behind the scenes, I'm not surprised this is something that everybody's kind of open to at this point. So we'll see if it actually happens, but the table is set for a trade to be made. Now, it is worth noting, just because the contract restructure happened, just because the Saints cleared this money, that doesn't mean Marshon Lattimore is going to be gone. If you remember last year, the Saints actually did this with Michael Thomas and paid him $1 million early, so they were able to have the possibility of moving on. They weighed out their options. The player Mike Thomas weighed out his options. The organization weighed out theirs, and they decided the best thing for both parties is to reunite. So maybe Marshon Lattimore could return, but that doesn't mean just because this happened, he is gone. So we don't know if he's going to be traded. It's just kind of something that could happen. So in terms of the production for Marshon Lattimore, you can see what he's done. He's missed out a good amount of this year because of an injury, and his PFF overall grade, 67.4. Coverage grade, a very nice number at 69.1. 48 tackles, 8 PBUs, and an interception on the season. Marshon Lattimore has been pretty damn good. Every single year, he proves that when he is healthy, he is a top 5 cornerback in this league. And quite honestly, I think the Saints defense misses Lattimore, especially at this part of the stretch in the season where your season is on the line. You can make a playoff push. Hopefully, we could see Lattimore return this season. We're going to get into an injury update, but also next season as well. So next, I want to talk about more from Nick Underhill. He did actually give an injury update on Marshon Lattimore, and whether or not we're going to see him, at all the rest of the season or ever again in a Saints uniform. So before we get into that, I need you to go ahead and subscribe. Do not miss out on a thing because we're going to stay on top of all of the Marshon Lattimore updates, the trade rumors, the buzz, teams that are interested. We're going to break it all down. We're going to stay on top of it. This is your one-stop shop to get all the information. So subscribe, turn on your notifications so that way you never miss a thing. And as promised, let's get into that injury update on Marshon Lattimore. Nick Underhill saying, I don't think we're going to see him again this year. Everything I've heard says we're not going to see him again this year. If they somehow make the playoffs and they go on a run, maybe that changes. But I do not expect to see Marshon Lattimore in that locker room again this season. Worth noting, it's not like he hasn't been around. He comes in, does his rehab kind of stuff. He comes in, does a few things. He's just not available for media availability. He's in and out. He tried not to be around, but the second he's there, you know that we're going to give you guys some updates on what he's saying and what's going on. So again, subscribe. But that is just worth noting. I don't think, or Nick Underhill doesn't think that he'll be returning this season. So if Marshon Lattimore gets traded, I kind of want to segue into, I don't want to talk about all the great things that he's done in his career because we all know. We're all Saints fans. We've watched 23 absolutely perform at a high level for a very long time now. But let's start talking about what could happen if he is moved on for him. So Isaac Yiadom, let me just say this right now. He is in the midst of his best career season. So if the Saints move on from him, I think you have to find a way to bring back a player that's putting up this level of production next season. His PFF overall grade, an 80.8. That's the best he's ever had. His coverage grade, 80.1. Best he's ever had. 36 tackles, 14 pass breakups, 1 interception. He's filled in so nicely when the Saints needed him situationally or when they needed him to fill in for injuries. So I think Isaac Yiadom would be a great guy to bring back, and I don't think you're going to have to pay him the king's ransom. I think you can get him on a respectable contract where you're giving him the money he deserves, but you're not having to pay him your entire salary cap. And I like Ike. Just thought it was a clever name for this graphic right here. When targeted, Isaac Yiadom, he has allowed an 85.1 passer rating, which is his career best, which is pretty incredible when you take a look at the other passer ratings that have been allowed. And of note, obviously, Marshon Lattimore, he's missed some time, but 74.7 passer rating allowed. Isaac Yiadom at 85.1. It's not far off. It's not close. It's kind of like, all right, there is a drop-off, but Yiadom has been pretty damn good. Paulson Adebo actually leads the team in passer rating allowed. Alontae Taylor at 86.0. And also Ugo Amadi, who we've only seen in 21 coverage snaps, he actually has allowed a 54.9 passer rating. But again, that's been in a very, very limited sample size. But you can see on your screen, and you can look back at the production. You can look back at what they've done throughout the season. This Saints pass defense has been great. Part of that has been with Marshon Lattimore. Part of that has been without Marshon Lattimore. So that's something that we all have to kind of be like, at the end of the day, even when Lattimore was hurt last year and this year, Saints defense is still doing pretty damn good. Look at the pass defense rankings. They're number 2 in opponent pass completion at 58.78. Opponent pass yards per game, they're number 7 at just over 6 yards per pass. Opponent passes per game. It's not like these teams aren't throwing the ball. They're trying to throw the ball a lot. The Saints have the number 9 most passes thrown against their defense. 200 passing yards per game. That's also good for the Drew Brees number. And the opponent interceptions thrown, you're 5th in terms of the interception percentage. So those are things that I think are all really, really good things to build off of. And at the end of the day, you saw that on your screen. You have 3 guys who can really hold it down. Paulson Adebo, we saw a lot of really good things. He has really stepped up this year. He has been stellar. He leads the team in interceptions with 4, 17 pass breakups, and 80.4 PFF coverage grade. Alontae Taylor kind of in that slot box role. He's been good. I kind of want to see him do a little bit better. But here's the thing. He's been very effective. He's a great tackler. He is reliable against the run. He's reliable in coverage at times. Of course, he got benched, but Alontae Taylor's development has gotten better and better and better. Finally logged his first interception last week. 54.2 PFF coverage grade. Not great, but not horrible. Of course, you want him to be better. But Isaac Yiadom, as we know, 80.1 PFF coverage grade, 14 pass breakups, and 1 interception. Guys, this defense has been good this season, and I want the defense to finish the year strong. Win, lose, or draw against the Atlanta Falcons, I want this defense to end on a strong note. If you win this game, you go and make the playoffs. Let's stay strong. Help us out. Good vibes only. Like the video and send a message to this defense to say, hey, keep it going, keep it moving. Let's improve. Let's get better, but let's not slow down. Full steam ahead. Let's go win some damn ball games. Like the video. All right, I'm just going to kind of finish out the show talking about Marshon Lattimore and why I love him as a player, and also some draft targets in case the Saints do move on from him. You have options in the draft as well. But here's the thing. I mean, you see this picture right here. The Mike Evans-Marshon Lattimore beef is one of the best in the NFL. Player versus player beef, I think it's number one up there in terms of players that don't like each other. This team needs a guy like number 23 because he offers so much more than on-field production. He offers swagger. He offers leadership. He offers moxie. He offers confidence. He offers just an attitude that oozes winning. He is a player that no matter where he is on the field, the opposing offense has to take account for where he's at. I love Marshon Lattimore. He's a great guy to have in the locker room. He's a great guy to help teach younger players. I hope that he is around next year. And it is worth noting, we have to talk about the injuries because he has racked up 2 injuries this season, or over the last 2 years, excuse me. Last year dealt with a lacerated kidney, missed a handful of games. This year, he's missed a handful of games. He's missed 17 in total over the last 2 seasons. That's not exactly what you want to see. Again, he's a great football player, but if the Saints move on, it's not like there isn't some talent that can be brought in. It's not like there's talent on the roster that can also fill in as well. In terms of the cornerback draft targets, I talked to our draft expert here at Chat Sports, Tom Downey, and here's the list of guys that I thought could be a good replacement. So Nate Wiggins out of Clemson, shout out producer Chip. Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Kalen King, the Penn State product. Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry of Alabama are both talented cornerbacks. Kamari Lassiter of Georgia. Denzel Burke at Ohio State. And Chris Abrams-Drain of Mizzou are all options you can get in the draft. And I'm going to finish with this. Final thoughts. All in all, like I said, I do not want New Orleans to trade Laddie Daddy. He is a phenomenal football player. He is a culture piece on this team. He is the lifeblood of this defense. He has been stellar since the day he put on a fleur-de-lis on his helmet. But if you do move on from him, Mickey Loomis, for the love of God, do not get effing fleeced again. This is a player you can get some good compensation for. If you do trade him, you better get a haul back. Do not piss off the rest of this fan base because you're already losing a lot of them. Don't make them mad by trading away a fan favorite and getting nothing in return. You got to go get something in return. You got to send him to a team that's going to give you something in return for him. Again, I don't want him traded, but if he is, you can't get fleeced again. So I want you to be the GM for me. What is your asking price for Marshon Lattimore? The Saints don't have a second-round pick. I don't think you're getting a first-round pick out of him, but I'm going a second at least. Give me a second-round pick because I want to be picking early on day 2, and I think that is something that you can get for a very experienced, very good veteran, high-production player, but also the Saints can get something in return that they need. What is your asking price? You be the GM. Let me know. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.